Hey Fly Friends, today I'm recording with a microphone, a new one that I just got, as well as an additional light setup so that it brings in this like warm natural light. Well, not natural, but it brings in more of a warm glow, which is what I'm hoping for. So yeah, I'm trying to level up my content and hopefully it is looking brighter, sharper, sounding better. Next investment will be probably like a mirrorless camera, but that's a future investment. I'm not worried about that right now. So let me just jump into doing my makeup today. I have stuff to record, so I want to look cute. So this is me recording, getting ready to record. Everything is content. All right, starting off with this Moisture Surge from Clinique. Maybe I need a light, like a light right there for when I have products close up. I don't know. Because if I have it here with cinematic on, it still doesn't focus. I could just go back to the regular video because I have switched to cinematic recording just because I like that blurred background effect, but if it's causing a problem with showing the products up close, I'll go back. I don't know. It's just trying a bunch of things, testing different stuff until the day I die. But as you can see, my psoriasis is doing a whole lot better. It's a little bit dry and crusty over here, but for the most part, it is not flaring. It's not as red, it's not as crusty, and there's this one patch on my thigh that will like never go away. Same with like right here, and the patches are starting to look better. And I think that's just because the medication I'm on is finally kicking in. It's only been a couple months on it, and with an autoimmune disease, that can take a really long time to see some effects with like medications to see it like clear up. And just the one thing I'm scared of, because it's autoimmune, my body will eventually get used to the medication and stop working. But that's why I love clinical studies. I did clinical studies for like 8 years and then they ran out, and so that's why I'm just paying for my own biologic right now. But usually I'm doing it for free and actually getting paid through a clinic. Yeah, it's been a minute since I've had to pay for a medication. The feeling of like frustration and helplessness when a medication stops working for me, I haven't had to worry about for a long time, because in a clinical setting, it's just like, well, if it works, then that's great, you know? Then I have something that I'm on for a little while, and if it stops working, then there's something else for me to try, and all of it is at no cost. And meanwhile, I'm being like monitored by my dermatologist and all that stuff. So, clinical studies are not for everyone, but they are very safe and you actually get really good care and support. So if you've ever considered it, maybe you've never even heard of it, I am an advocate for doing clinical studies, especially if you have autoimmune issues and deal with your body just getting used to the medicines. It's really frustrating. And with psoriasis, everyone has a different like flare trigger. Mine is stress, and I just stay stressed 24/7, kind of like the Hulk. He stays angry all the time, and that's why he's able to turn into the Hulk. I'm just a ball of stress 24/7, and that's why I have psoriasis flares all the time. And then I get stressed that I'm flaring, and then I flare even more. And that's some rude shit, let me tell you. There are changes you can make that help some. There's, diet and, weight loss that can help. So the things I'm doing for my type 2 diabetes might also be helping my psoriasis. I've heard other people with psoriasis go on a GLP-1 like I'm doing and have seen some progress with their psoriasis. I don't think it's the medication itself. I think it's the weight loss that sometimes occurs when you're on those medications. So just to be clear, again, it affects everyone differently. So for some of us, weight loss might really help clear it up, but for some of us, it might really only do a little bit of help. And that's why I'm on like a GLP-1 and a biologic. I never went on my GLP-1 in hopes that it would help my psoriasis. I think a big part of that is I didn't go on it to lose weight. I went on it to lower my A1C and help me with my blood sugar and just manage my type 2 diabetes. And the weight loss, whatever happens with that, is just like a secondary thing. But again, it can help, but I'm not tracking my weight loss, nor am I setting like weight loss goals or body goals. I'm setting like health and fitness goals. This is in color 3F. I hope this color matches. We're going with it. I've never used this before. This is me. I haven't tried Lawless before, so This is new to me. But yeah, I think that's a little bit of a unique way of looking at things from those of us who are on a GLP-1. A lot of us tend to look at weight loss as the measurement for success, and a lot of people ask me about my weight loss in terms of success. They see me taking a GLP-1 while also being a fat person and say, oh, well, it's not working then because you're fat. And it's like, that's really not a good indicator to tell if the meds are working, especially since there are people who don't necessarily lose like a ton of weight, but are still seeing really great benefit. You do kind of need to change your lifestyle a little bit to see some really good changes. I'm not doing it like restricting myself and really like dieting and cutting things out. I'm doing it for like adding things in, making sure I'm getting my fiber and my protein. And then because I don't usually eat a lot to begin with, and there is a slight appetite suppressant to the Manjaro, I don't get it to where it's like very drastic, honestly. But if I'm starting my meal with filling things like fiber and protein, and if I, start to slow down on my consumption, then that just means that I've prioritized the things that are going to help me the best on my health journey. I think it's a pretty good color match, actually. I keep getting psoriasis flakes all over the place. My scalp psoriasis has definitely been flaring a little lately. For the longest time, I definitely was very focused on weight loss in like bursts. Like I would get really into dieting and losing weight and all of that stuff. And, maybe I did have some temporary weight loss, but it would almost always lead me into a binge. And so it was just a cycle of like being super restrictive, focused on my weight and the scale, and obsessively checking what progress I had made. And then being so frustrated with not seeing the progress I was hoping for, especially since my PCOS, insulin resistance, would work against me. And it was really difficult to, even when I was doing all the right things, see the progress that I was expecting. After doing that for so long and my health declining more than improving because of all that yo-yoing and feeling like, oh, I should just be able to will my way out of this fatness, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be happy and try and make the best health choices I can. And I just have a really bad history of balancing my mental and physical health. And so I would usually just work on one and kind of abandon the other. So I was definitely focused on mental health for quite a while, and, found the body positivity space, which was so, so helpful to know that there were other people living in larger bodies who were like indifferent or, what have you. I guess it's more neutrality and body liberation, but body positivity is kind of like the buzzword that I had known about, that I'd seen people use for me to like find my community and my people. And so that really helped me be very comfortable with whatever body I had. When it was time to, when I felt like I was in a good headspace to focus on my physical health again, I was type 2 diabetic. And that's when I needed to make some changes. And again, I was like, I'll just do it myself. I'm just going to do the hard work, diet and exercise, yada, yada. And not really diet and exercise. I approached it differently. What I did was I learned about kind of the things that were, the foods that were maybe the better choices, and moving my body a little bit more, and just sort of taking a different kind of approach to health than I had ever done before, to where I was still indifferent to what my body was going to do. I just wanted to see my A1C improve and see my blood sugar improve. And I was able to do that pretty okay on my own for a little while. And then my A1C did go up a little bit. And then that's when I got so frustrated. And I had done some more research on GLP-1s to where I wasn't like afraid, that I started on Ozempic. And then that's when I started to see my A1C go down. And I felt like, okay, so the things that I've been doing actually are the right things. I'm seeing the progress with, with the help of these tools, these medications. And it was just such a validating feeling. Like, and when I'm talking about, when I say I don't diet, an example is I would usually have for lunch a sandwich with a side of chips. Now what I do is I have a sandwich with a few chips, but I also add in some strawberries and some raw veggies. And by the time I'm finished with my sandwich and my veggies and my fruit, I don't need, or I don't feel like I'm missing out on the chips as much. And I don't eat as many of the chips, while also adding in more like nutrition to the meal that I otherwise really wouldn't have had for that one meal. So that's what I mean by I'm not like dieting. I'm just making sure to prioritize other sources of nutrition and make some swaps that kind of reduce the consumption of things that aren't as nutritious. I'm trying to like avoid like, good, bad, healthy, like kind of talk around food. It's been hard. Like inside of me, I want to say, like bad and unhealthy and things like that. And that's just not the case. And like remove the guilt from eating my veggies with ranch. Like ranch is not like, if you eat your veggies with some ranch, then you're still eating vegetables. Like the ranch does not take away from the fact that you're eating a vegetable. You know what I mean? So it's been like really hard because I grew up with like a Weight Watchers mom, someone who was also overweight but had me on a diet and was very much reminding me that I was overweight a lot and conditioning me to use a spray salad dressing instead of like a actual salad dressing that you would drizzle over your salad, and eating cereal with yogurt instead of milk. I don't quite know what that swap was about, but I remember that one. And like eating spaghetti squash instead of spaghetti. And that's just, to me, that's restrictive. Now, as an adult, I'm able to eat the things that I love, while adding more things that are high in like fiber and protein. And by the time I get to those things that I love, I'm not eating as much as I usually would. And that's probably like naturally putting me in a calorie deficit, which I do know is like, works and is important and all that stuff. But also a more recent and exciting development is I've been adding more physical activity to my day, and my joints are not hurting as much as they used to. And that is from my psoriatic arthritis. Typically, I would only be able to use my walking pad or, walk around for 15-20 minutes before it would start to hurt too much. And the other day I walked for like a whole hour and I was fine. And that's pretty crazy to me. And I honestly was avoiding it because of that pain, because I assumed that I was still dealing with that limitation. And then I was like, you know what? I just need to find a baseline. I need to know where I'm at. And I just did it. And I was like, oh, like, it's fine. I'm fine. So that was really cool. Oh, I didn't do concealer. Let me do something for my rosacea. Yeah, so that was honestly a bit of a surprise that I was feeling okay after like a whole hour of walking. Now, I only did it on a speed 1, no incline. And so I'll add in some other challenges going forward. But for right now, my husband and I are really only focused on being consistent with our physical activity. We've been waking up every morning and doing a little walkabout together in the garage. And so far, we're only on day 2, but so far, so good. you know, any progress is good progress. And to be totally honest, I just want to be able to have wild, crazy sex without getting winded. That's my goal. That's all I care about. Like, I just want to have crazy hot sex with my husband. And right now he's able to fold me in a pretzel and stuff, but I want to be able to like hold my own. Those are the physical limitations that I don't want. I want to be able to, you know, keep up with him. I don't know if I'm going to keep this in the YouTube video. I'll have to check with my husband, see if he's cool with it. I've seen some of those memes where it's like, I work out so that I look hot during sex. I don't care how I look. I want to make sure I can do the activities. I want to make sure I can participate. Because, like, you know, I'm a pillow princess at the moment. I'm like a pillow pretzel. Anyway, a pillow pretzel. I feel like framing it that way, not only for me, but for my husband as well, has been helpful because, you know, of course that's going to motivate him. And for me, it's not like, I'm trying to lose a specific amount of weight or be a specific size. I'm like literally just going for specific abilities and ones that are not ones that are not like visual. I'm not trying to be visually looking a specific way. I'm trying to have a specific physical ability. And that also means like the way that I'm going to track my success is different. It's going to be a lot more fun, that's for sure. For the most part, I'm pretty confident and comfortable in my body. But as that changes, I feel like I might have some insecurities come up. You know, things are just laying differently. And, you know, my husband noticed first, of course, and then I was like, oh yeah, you're right. And it hasn't bothered me so far, but I just have spent so long in the body that I was in, like the same size and everything, and I just got very comfortable with it. And I've been fat my whole life, so there's certain, I guess, limitations that I may have had this whole time that I really didn't notice because it wasn't like overnight I became fat and it's like, oh, these are some things that I couldn't do before or that I could do and now I can't. Yeah, I don't know how to say exactly what I'm thinking, but I am noticing I'm able to do certain things. Like, for instance, walk for an hour. I never would have been able to do that before. Now, granted, that's because my autoimmune disease is like chilling. So I don't think that's specifically to do with the physical look and shape of my body. But it is part of like my health journey and things that are getting easier as I'm working on my health. I'll deal with that later. This chair is driving me nuts. I'm actually getting a new chair. This one is so fucking squeaky. I love it. It's very comfortable. I don't like how the headrest shows behind me. It's, you know, not super cute. The squeaking is insane. It's very heavy and hard to move. The armrests drive me nuts sometimes. So I got one of those like crisscross chairs from TikTok to try. I still love this chair. Like, I'm still keeping it. If I had like a craft room, I think that would be perfect for this. It's just like when filming, it's a little bit of a pain. Okay, what else? I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be starting a new job soon. It's like pretty much confirmed. Just need some more details figured out. And it will be as a social media manager, hopefully full time. I don't want to give too much away because I don't have the job. Imagine if I start talking about it and I don't even get, like, it's pretty for sure. And it would be such a big relief, especially since I'm trying to convince my husband to let me get that mirrorless camera. But I did officially take myself out of college. I'm not doing that, not pursuing that because this job is pretty much so for sure. Whether it's part-time or full-time is what's really to be determined. But that would just be so super nice to not have to be stressed about a job anymore, about income. My influencer income is just so inconsistent. It's scary that, you know, to rely on that. It's just a lot going on. Like I said, I just kind of stay stressed at all times. Like, if I didn't have income from Fly for Ginger, I'd be screwed right now. I refuse to go in to work. I've been working from home for years now. It's the most amazing thing ever. I never want to have to commute to a job ever again. I was always such a homebody, and especially since I'm a content creator and I can make content from home at any point in time, but if I'm like at a job, I obviously can't. It like puts limitations on what I'm able to do if I had a job I had to go into. So thankfully the job that's coming through is going to be totally remote, and it's going to be as a social media manager. I'm stoked. I'm so excited. I'm ready to start yesterday. Because the cool thing is, once I start making money, I can then pay other people to help me with Fly for Ginger stuff. And it creates more jobs, basically. It makes it so that I have multiple revenue streams, which is obviously necessary because times are tough. And this one specific revenue stream is what's keeping me afloat. All right. That's pretty much it except lipstick. Using this Tender Rose signature lipstick from Moira. Oh, I need lashes. Hello. Got my Wasato magnetic lashes. It's just so easy, so like mess free. They're just a little tricky to put on. It was a learning curve for sure. I also wonder how long they last before they start like breaking apart, because they are a little bit pricey. It makes such a difference, you know what I mean? Have my camera over here. That's why I keep looking this way instead of that way. Setting spray. Because it's nearby, I'm going to use this L'Oreal Infallible. Well, thanks for joining my random thought dump, get ready with me, whatever the fuck this was. I had some things on my mind, so I'm glad I was able to get them off my chest and chat with you about them. Let me know if you'd like me to talk about those subjects more, because I have thoughts and feelings and opinions that I don't mind sharing. Anyway, I hope this was fun and entertaining. I had a blast, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye!